Football fans, this is a live reaction post Ohio State taking down Texas 14-7. Last night was entertaining for those who watched the reaction show I posted this morning from those two games. Great games last night. This one was kind of a sluggish one, and we talked about it with Eric over the week that two young quarterbacks, two good defenses, going to be a wild environment. This game was not going to be a high scoring game. Tonight's game, LSU Clemson, I'm expecting to be a little bit more high scoring, even though I like both defenses, especially Clemson's defense, just more experienced quarterback play, really good receivers on the outside. I think that's going to be an exciting game. That would get a little bit more juice, a little bit more excitement, but not surprised too much that it was more of a defensive struggle, defensive battle in the ball game. Let's get right into it with some of the big topics, some of the big things that we saw in the football game. First off, the biggest thing that we got to talk about, Joel Klatt bitching about SEC officials on the game three times in the game. I like Joel. Joel, I got nothing against you. I listen to your podcast every week. I think you do a great job. I like listening to you announce. The only time I don't like listening to you announce is when you or complain about the SEC or the SEC officiating or any of that. I don't hear Herb Street or maybe really a lot of the big time guys who call games complaining about certain conferences. It feels like Joel's the only guy. So, like I said, Joel, like you, like a lot of things you do, big fan of everything. Just the complaining about the SEC and the SEC officiating kind of getting old, especially when you do it three times in a game. So that's my number one big takeaway from this Texas versus Ohio State game. It just kind of tells you what we got in this matchup between these two football teams. But all joking aside, the big topic, and everyone's going to be talking about it. I was tweeting about it. Everyone was tweeting about it. What we've been waiting for this entire offseason, Paul Feinbaum's greatest player since Tim Tebow, Arch Manning, really making his first true start. I know he started two games last year, but as QB1 of the Texas Longhorns, and it was disappointing. It was not what a lot of people were expecting. A big time game on the road, expectations high. What did we say during the week? He can handle it because he's had to deal with this his whole life. His last name's Manning. He's had to live in this shadow from Pee Wee football to high school football to obviously now here at Texas. He's done it enough. He's going to be fine. The very first snap, it was a play action bootleg to the right, a basic layers combination. You got a guy in the flat. You got about a sail route, 15 yard out on the outside. Over on top of that, you're reading the flat defender. He comes up, you throw it over top, he backs off, you hit your number one guy down the flat, and you take a completion. Defender came up, he's got a guy wide open, 15-yard completion, just a catch. Could have been a bigger play after that because there was no one really around the receiver at the moment, and he dirts it about 5 yards in front. So, like, that just shows you right there, even a guy like that is going to have a little bit of nerves on his first game on the road against the defending champs, and being the new starting quarterback for the University of Texas. So it was rocky. There was not a lot of confidence. And you saw it from even the way Sark was calling the game. It was quarterback run. It was quick RPOs to the outside. Even some of those balls were dying. And it didn't seem until really obviously the fourth quarter when you're down 14 points and Sark's like, you know what? I can't just throw dink and dunks. I can't just run the quarterback. I got to throw the ball down the field. I just got to let it rip because at this point, it's either we do that and he throws three interceptions or we don't do it and we still lose the game 14-0. And you saw some nice throws. The touchdown pass was nice. That cover two shot to the left side on that last drive, that was a hell of a throw. We saw athletic moments from him throughout the game as well. So there's a lot that we can dissect and say is really bad from Arch Manning. And there was a lot of bad. And I was one of the, I feel like few people this entire offseason said, let's pump the brakes on this Heisman talk. Let's pump the brakes on him being the best quarterback in the SEC. Let's just get a bigger body of work before we start crowning him. I still think he has a chance to be good. I still think that he has an opportunity to reach all the things that he wants to reach in his career. Is it going to happen this year? Maybe not, probably not. Could it happen next year? Yeah, and that could be the best thing for him, playing a whole season at Texas and then coming back for another season at the University of Texas. I think these are all really good learning moments on the road against a really good team. So I'm just hoping that all the hype and pressure and BS about he should be number one in the Heisman, he's going to be the first pick in the NFL draft, just slow down, bro. all you guys, slow the frick down and just let's get through a season. Let's go through half a season before we really know what we got from Arch Manning. Defense looked good for Texas. Uh, it just it came down to the quarterback play. He didn't play good enough. Plain and simple, he did not play good enough in that game. The interception was atrocious, but hopefully this is the worst that he plays this year and he gets better and better because I still think that there's plenty of talent around him, good running game, and I still think Steve Sarkisian is a pretty damn good play caller that they'll figure this out and move on. Ohio State played not to lose. You're at home. You want to see and get a feel for Arch. You saw early on that, man, this kid maybe is not ready for this moment just yet. We got a young freshman quarterback ourselves. Let's just rely on the defense, this incredible home field advantage, and let's get out of here with a victory. And that's kind of the feeling in the game. Like, let's not put too much on Julian Sayin's plate. I thought he looked good. We talk about pressure. I mean, he walked into this game, obviously at quarterback Ohio State, big shoes to fill after Will Howard won a national championship a year ago. But he's not been the talk. It's all been about Arch. And I thought he came in there very calm, very cool, made some really nice throws. Hell, you had 3 drops there in the first quarter. Tight end drops on that 4th down pass was an absolute dime on that corner route. Jeremiah Smith dropped 2 easy passes right in his hand. So as a quarterback, you're saying, like, dude, I'm doing everything I can do right here. I'm putting the ball in the money. My guys aren't catching it. So I did walk away saying, you know what, Ohio State, really impressed with you defensively. I know Texas did not play well offensively at all, but some of that had to do with what you guys were doing at all 3 levels. So really impressed with Ohio State's defense. We know that they're going to have the receivers on the outside. Jeremiah Smith is still probably the best player in America. And I thought Julian Sayin handled the moment really well against one of the best defenses in the country in Texas. He handled it really well. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, moments where he really put the ball in harm's way, or there are moments like, don't do that, don't do that. It was vanilla. I mean, he was 13 to 20, 126, had the touchdown pass, only 6.3 yards average. So like it wasn't like, hey man, go out there and win the football game for us. Hey man, go out there and throw some big dagger routes and post routes and go balls and deep comebacks and really have to press and put your maybe possibly take some risk. It was not that. The game plan was, let's run it. Let's try to get easy completions. Let him make some plays when he needs to and trust the defense. So for Ryan Day, man, a guy last year that was on the hot seat, ends up winning the national championship, I thought came in here with an incredible game plan on both sides of the football. I mean, the graphic was shown earlier. I mean, what both these teams lost a year ago, over what 25 players lost combined between them. Ohio State had 15 guys lost the NFL draft. I thought they looked poised on both sides. I thought they executed at a high level. And I think Ohio State is kind of back to being that contender, obviously. And I don't think they weren't not a contender, number 3 team in the country. But obviously the big talk is Penn State, Penn State, Penn State, Drew Aller, what they have coming back. We said it on the show. There's a lot of excitement about this Julian Sayin kid, a ton of excitement from within inside the program. And you saw little bits and pieces of that potential. And Jeremiah Smith didn't really even have a ball game. I love the fact that they found ways to get him the touches early. They moved him in the slot. They tried to get him some crossing routes. They tried to get him some quick hitters on the outside. Obviously, nothing really turned into anything massive down the field, but you know what you're going to get from him week in and week out. And you know that big plays are going to happen going forward within this offense. So huge win for Ohio State, man. You walk away from that saying, I don't give a damn. 14-7. Our young quarterback played well. Our defense exceeded expectations. Probably going to be the number 1 team in the country next week. And, from there, it's a lot of confidence going forward for Texas. Man, maybe now you can kind of just take a breath and not feel that heat, that pressure of dealing with it. And guess what? It was a non-con game too. You have a lot of big opportunities going forward with inside the SEC to prove why you still should be in contention to get to Atlanta. That's it. Quick review. EMAC and I will obviously dive deeper into this when we do our full weekend recap. But for now, enjoy the rest of your Saturday and enjoy those games. And I'll get some more of these instant reactions throughout the day today and tomorrow. Have a good one.